something. I know I can't hardly read and write. I quit school when I was 10-year-old, and I should have quit at 8, you know, because I might have got started earlier. See, right now, one of my biggest prayers is give me some wisdom like Solomon had. I'm searching for myself in the Bible. See, I'm trying to find where am I at? Well, I've had a lot of lawyers tell me, you trust too much, and I'll tell them I would not give that up. You know, without trust, you ain't got anything to start with. No, I think now's the big day, today. You know, everything I do is an accident. I don't plan anything. It just kind of happens. I do try to treat people like I want to be treated. And I have about 20 partners. And I'm a good partner. And good partners attracts good partners. You know, my uncle, he couldn't read and write, but he had a big sawmill, and he'd send me off to sell lumber, and he'd just load it up and say, this is what you got on, this is how much money I want, and don't come back without the money. Well, you know, they don't teach stuff down at the university like that. I know one thing, a handshake used to be better than a contract is now, but they didn't have very many lawyers back then. So I drove up there with 2 trailer loads of lumber, and I said, I need to sell this. And he said, no, the gate's shut, can't do this, can't do that. And he made this terrible mistake. He asked me when I was going to get married, and I said, tomorrow night, if I can get rid of this lumber. This guy taking 2 loads of lumber. Well, I would have married Sarah night, but she wouldn't have married me that quick. But we had a, you know, that's great education, though. It's people. You know, books is one thing, and going to school and being the smartest guy in town is good, but just finding out what makes people work and that. So if you're ever going to be poor, you need to pick it when you're young and then get out of that. Whit Stevens told me one time, it's not a sin to be poor, but get away from it as soon as possible. But see, when I go by a construction site and I see a guy on a backhoe and he's working it like playing a piano, man, he's happier than the President of the United States because he knows what he's doing. And you go by and you see a rock mason just laying those rocks and sweat running off of him. But I mean, everything he does is just perfect and everything. Now to me, that's success. Because I think you can be the President of the United States and be a pauper. And one of the things that God did for she and I and our children, a lot of people think we got rich. We may did financially, but we never did know it. You know, rich in wealth, health, and spiritually, if you've got all 3 of them, that's just about as good as you're going to have. But I think my wife does buy too many shoes. But I get up in the morning, get in the car, and I start down here at Roll-Off, or I start at Central. But I go see every one of those guys nearly every day, and if I don't go, they're unhappy. But I don't do nothing after I get there. I just go by and shake a few hands, drink coffee, and how you going? But that's kind of like touching the starter button for the day. If you don't have problems with your children, if you hadn't had, and you don't have, you're going to have, if you've got any kids. So when we have problems, any kind, family or anything, we pull together. And I know a lot of people pull apart. And I don't know how it works that way, but if every time we get in trouble, we get closer. And like John L. says, what are you going to do today? I don't know, but I'm going to do something. And we did a $20 million deal yesterday, just You know, and that's a pretty big deal for me, you know. But today is going to be better than yesterday. We've just been kind of climbing the ladder, and we've been slapped down a few times, but I forgot about them. I don't remember the good things. And a lot of people brood over the bad things, and I don't. I forget them the next morning. I get up, and in fact, we was going to take up bankruptcy in the truck line one time. And the next morning we went to work, and nobody ever mentioned it again. I do know better than to judge other people. Used to, I'd go to St. Louis and step over winos going to the hotel in the morning. And I got thinking about that, and I got thinking that, you know, if I had his problems, more likely I'd be laying there. So you got to be very careful, because when somebody does something to you or against you, you don't know what the situation is. See, I think all problems, the answer to all problems in the Bible, but you got to pay the price to figure it out. If you don't learn how to tithe when you're making a little, when you get to making a lot, it'll be too much to tithe. Dr. Schuler and some of these people send me all these books. If they knew what I'd done with their books, they'd faint. There isn't but one book. I haven't finished the Bible yet. What have I read it 15 times? I'm reading the Bible. He didn't go out and pick out all the smart people to do his work. He just picked out mediocre. Joseph got thrown in. I'm a dreamer. I'm a Joseph. That's what I am. I know that. But I don't have any fear of dying, you know. That's not a big deal. No, I think now's the big day, today.